sometimes our circumstances change unexpectedly, throwing us off balance. Has that ever happened to you? If so, pay close attention to this next dramatization.
Caring for the needs of my family is a source of great joy. That was the life that was. One drunk driver, and my wife was gone. Our 2 children had lost their loving mother. The doctors were hopeful that my son might regain the use of his legs. But in the meantime, we needed to adjust to this new situation. My mum was such a support, both emotionally and practically. She helped with the children whilst I went to work. That way, I was able to care for the family's physical needs. It wasn't easy. I don't know what I would have done without her.
We're watching a dramatization in the May 2023 JW Broadcasting episode titled Adapting to Changed Circumstances. The gist of it is that a Jehovah's Witness man loses his partner. They have 2 children. In the same car accident where his partner dies, his son loses the use of his legs, is severely injured. And what irritates me about these dramatizations, where they effectively use some sort of tragedy as the main central plot, is that you can overcome these tragedies with or without being a Jehovah's Witness. And when I say overcome, I don't mean deal with it completely. These things are always going to leave lasting scars. But the arrogance of suggesting, as this dramatization does, that the only way you can get through this sort of challenging situation is through being a Jehovah's Witness is frankly insulting.
My fellow elders were loving and considerate too. They offered to lighten some of my congregation responsibilities. But I just wanted to keep busy. I tried to keep on top of everything. But spiritually, things began to slip. On more than one occasion, I had to ask others to cover my meeting parts.
Hello?
Hi, Simon.
Oh, hi, Oliver.
I'm so sorry. I've been held up at work again. Could you cover the treasures item for me tonight?
Okay, no problem. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. I was just too tired to prepare for family worship. And the results were obvious. Everything seemed overwhelming. Even the simple things were a struggle.
The meeting was great. But Dad, you missed Madison's demonstration tonight.
I'm so sorry. I had to work late.
Don't worry, Dad.
Something had to give. Maybe I needed to step aside as an elder. I needed help.
Frankly, I'm sure being in a cult in this sort of situation isn't going to help. That's what, to me, seems to be the problem here. He's having to deal with the tragic loss of his wife and with the health issues of his son. He's having to do extra work to care for his family. And apparently it's all about his failings as a Jehovah's Witness. And the possibility of him stepping aside as an elder. Oh no, maybe I need to reduce my privileges. Maybe I need to step back as an elder. I need to be more spiritual in this situation. That's really quite distressing and concerning, that someone in that situation having to face that sort of terrible tragedy would be caught in this spiral of guilt and self-loathing because they don't feel like they're quite doing enough. And for me, the part that really drove this home was where he sat on the bed and his son says, "You missed Madison's demonstration tonight." It's not like he missed like a parent-teacher meeting, or he missed like a school play where his daughter would be performing and it would be really important for her. He missed a demonstration which is pretty much the only thing a female is allowed to do on the platform in the Jehovah's Witness religion. If you are a female, you're not allowed to do any teaching of any kind, so that when you're going to the meetings, the midweek meetings, and the men or the young boys are getting on the platform and giving proper talks, you have to content yourself with standing on the platform and giving either an experience at the direction of a man, where a man is giving you the questions and you have to answer in a pre-prepared fashion. You have to answer those questions to the satisfaction of the person of the man whose part it is, or you get to give a demonstration of how to recruit someone into the organization. That's the most you can aspire to as a woman in this organization.
Balance comes when we exercise faith. Hebrews 11:6 reminded me that Jehovah is the rewarder of those earnestly seeking him. And James 3:17 says, "The wisdom from above is reasonable." I realize that my family's spiritual needs are one of the more important things. And it's okay to ask others for support. Applying these Bible principles helped me regain my joy. Our circumstances may change, but our Christian priorities do not. They keep us anchored to our living hope.
My mum, and we will be all together.
Thanks to Jehovah, I was able to provide for my own in the most important ways.
What helped Oliver deal with such overwhelming changes?
He became a better Jehovah's Witness. That seems to be the message here, Mark Newmare. If you go through a tragedy, the only way you're going to get through it, including bereavement, the loss of your spouse, the loss of your co-parent, is to double down on your faith, is to make sure you're putting spiritual things first. That's where this guy was going wrong. So again, it's just contributing to this spiral of guilt and self-loathing. Everything's apparently his fault in some way. He should have been preparing more for the family worship, which is what you see him doing towards the end there. Apparently, he just had to break out the marker pens. Apparently, it all had to be some art project, and they needed to depict paradise. They needed to depict the family reunited in paradise with the mother who had died. That's what was going to solve the problem. Giving the children these false hopes, these false promises of being reunited with their mother, if only they'll stick close to this organization. And just a bit of housekeeping. Frequently, Jehovah's Witnesses, when they're defending themselves on the issue of child abuse and child safeguarding, time and time again, they've made the argument that there is no part of Jehovah's Witness worship in which children get separated from their parents. Well, what about this?
And it's okay to ask others for support.
It's okay to ask others for support. And you see there, Madison, his youngest, his daughter, walking down the street with two Jehovah's Witnesses who are not Madison's parents, because they're working together in the preaching work, in the ministry. Isn't that interesting? So that they'll happily depict in their video propaganda situations in which children are separated from their parents and do end up working with non-family members who happen to be congregants when it suits them for their internal propaganda. But when they're facing a public inquiry, when they're trying to spin the whole situation for journalists and for governmental bodies, governmental inquiries, they'll say, oh, there's no situation in which children get separated from their parents. They're with their parents all the time. So we as an organization, as a religious organization, have no responsibility whatsoever to have safeguarding policies in place because children are with their parents all the time. Well, how do you explain that?